Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Iowa's Apprentice winner, Tana Gertz.
Whoa, how we doing, Cedar Rapids? All right, you guys are a nice rowdy crowd, good-looking group of people. I see we filled in, awesome. Well, I could not be more excited, more thrilled and humbled to be able to introduce to you a man that I've gotten to know as wife as well, and his daughter, his mother and his brother are here today. It's a big family ordeal. I really respect and admire Governor Pence because he loves God, he loves his family, and he so loves this country. So would you please put your hands together and help me welcome Governor of Indiana and also our next Vice President of the United States with his lovely wife, Karen Pence. Please come on up.
There she stood in the street, smiling from my head to her feet. I said, hey, what is this? Now, baby, maybe she's in need of a kiss. I said, hey, what's your name, baby? Maybe we can see things the same.
Hello, Iowa. Thank you for being here today. Thank you to our friends here at Modern Companies, a great American success story. Thank you for the wonderful hospitality to Modern Companies. Let's give them a big round of applause to Ken Brown and Dave Brown and the whole team. Part of Iowa's creative corridor, part of a growing success story that is only going to get better the day we elect Donald Trump as the next president of the United States. I want to thank all of you for being here today. I'm truly grateful that you would take time to be with us and to join us for a town hall. I have a few things I want to share with you, but I'm anxious to get to your thoughts and to what's on your mind. But first, I have to tell you, as I walked around here at Modern Companies, I had the privilege to meet a number of the employees and see the work that they do here, this great, innovative company, and had the opportunity to shake hands with one of the newer employees here. Quentin Bittner is a member of the Local 125, but before that, before a year ago when he started here at this company, he's a United States Marine who received a Purple Heart, and I want to honor Quentin. In fact, would all the men and women who have worn the uniform of the United States who are with us today, all of our veterans, would you mind standing and allowing us to show our appreciation for the service that you rendered to this nation? Thank you all so much for being here. It's remarkable for me to think here as August comes to a close that it was just a little more than a month ago that along with my wife and my family, some of whom are with me here today, it was my great privilege to accept my party's nomination to run and serve as the next Vice President of the United States of America. And you know, I appreciated that. I appreciate that introduction that Tana gave a minute ago. I appreciate her kindness, but she knows the introduction I prefer is just a little bit shorter. I like it to say that I'm a Christian, a conservative, and a Republican in that order. And I want to tell you, I joined this campaign in a heartbeat. I joined it in a heartbeat because you have nominated a man for President of the United States who never quits, who never backs down. He is a fighter, he is a winner, and until very recently it seemed like he was out there fighting all on his own, but now this party is united, this movement is united, and we're going to make Donald Trump the next President of the United States of America. You know, people ask me about Donald all the time. We talk just about every day. We campaign together every week. I've gotten to know him over the last couple of months and gotten to know his good family. And the way I just describe it is, you know, Donald Trump gets it, right? I mean, he's the genuine article, isn't he? I mean, he's a doer in a game usually reserved for talkers. And when he does his talking, he doesn't go tiptoeing around those thousands of rules of political correctness that people lay in the path of men and women that are trying to turn this country around. He speaks from his mind. He speaks from his heart. The American people hear him loud and clear, and they know as president he will make America great again. You know, it's amazing to think about it. At the very moment when America's crying out for something different, crying out for a new direction in the course of this country, the other party has actually nominated someone with a stale agenda and the most predictable of names. It's really remarkable when you think about it. I mean, people in both parties are restless for change, and the Democrats have actually nominated somebody who literally personifies everything this country is tired of. Now, the media is so busy parsing every word and every tweet that Donald Trump issues in the last 30 minutes, seems like they don't have time to talk about what the Clintons have been up to for the last 30 years. But I'll see what I can do to correct that. I mean, we all know the cascade of questionable conduct and failed policies, but just in the last week, it's amazing when you think about it. Today alone, on the plane when I'm flying out here to Iowa, we learned that the FBI found 15,000 more emails that Hillary Clinton didn't turn over. And while the media was talking about a Twitter war with some cable television show hosts, we also saw that Judicial Watch just released 725 more pages of State Department documents that apparently show a top aide to Secretary Clinton gave expedited and direct access to top Clinton Foundation donors. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Hillary Clinton to come clean about the Clinton Foundation. I mean, the news today is on top of news that we saw the emails came to light just a few short weeks ago that seemed to provide direct evidence that favors were done by State Department officials for large foreign donors to the Clinton Foundation. And even though the FBI discussed opening up a public corruption investigation into the Clinton Foundation, the Obama administration actually shut it down. Now, the Clinton Foundation just announced that they'll no longer accept corporate and foreign donations if Hillary Clinton is elected in November. Apparently, she'll have a conflict of interest with the Clinton Foundation if she becomes president, but I guess she didn't have a conflict of interest taking foreign donations when she was Secretary of State of the United States of America. You know, the American people are sick and tired of the pay-to-play politics in Washington, D.C. When Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, we're going to bring pay-to-play politics to a crashing halt on day one. So today, Donald Trump and I are calling for action. We're calling for action by the Democrat nominee. Hillary Clinton should shut down the Clinton Foundation right now. I mean, how in the world can they say that they'll shut down the Clinton Foundation if she's elected president of the United States and allow foreign contributors and major corporations to make down payments on access to the Clinton administration? I mean, let me tell you something, folks. It's just time that Hillary Clinton came clean. I mean, Hillary Clinton is in hiding and Donald Trump is everywhere. And let me promise you this. When Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, the days of this rigged system for the favored few is coming to an end. His only special interest is you, the American people. Now, for all the cascade of controversies coming out of the Clinton administration, the worst of it is that they're bringing the same tired ideas that have run this economy into a ditch. You know, the truth of the matter is, even though they give sunny speeches at their national convention about how good the economy is, we're actually in the midst of the weakest economic recovery since the Great Depression. We have the lowest labor participation rate since the 1970s. Any progress you've been able to make here in Iowa, any progress we've made back in the state of Indiana, is in spite of the policies of the Obama and Clinton agenda, not because of it. And most heartbreaking of all, nearly 7 million more Americans are living in poverty today than the day that Barack Obama became President of the United States of America. Now, their answer is more of the same. It really is pretty remarkable. If you listen to her speech on economics, if you listen to her convention speech, it's just more of the same. Did you hear it? More taxes, more regulation, more than $1 trillion in tax increases. More regulation, more of the war on coal, and more of Obamacare. Now, Hillary Clinton and her crowd tell us that this economy is just the best we can do. But we know better. It's not the best we can do. It's just the best they can do. And when Donald Trump becomes President of the United States of America, things are going to change. And we're going to get this economy moving again for every American. I mean, Donald Trump has a plan to reignite the American economy through tax reform, regulatory reform, trade reform, and energy reform. We're going to cut taxes across the board for every American. Lower marginal income tax rates. We're going to get rid of death taxes once and for all. And we're going to lower the corporate tax rate so American businesses can compete with businesses around the world and keep jobs right here. Donald Trump on day one is going to sign an executive order issuing a moratorium on all new federal regulation, and he's going to rescind all those Obama administration executive orders stifling American growth and jobs. And also on day one, Donald Trump and I are going to say yes to American energy. We're going to say yes to developing all the resources of our land, including renewable energy, and we're going to end the war on coal once and for all. And when Donald Trump becomes president, we're going to have in the White House one of the best negotiators on planet Earth. And I guarantee you, he's going to roll his sleeves up and make sure that trade deals work for the American worker, for the American people, and not just for multinational corporations. Now, Hillary Clinton says that believing that we can turn this economy around with Donald Trump's agenda is, quote, wildly unrealistic. Okay? Well, I think the only thing that's wildly unrealistic is that you can elect the same people with the same bad ideas and get a different result. So let me say to you, for the sake of our prosperity and for the sake of ensuring that the highest standards of integrity are in the highest office in the land, let's decide here and now in Iowa that Hillary Clinton will never be elected President of the United States of America. You know, it really is remarkable. All the big government programs that Hillary Clinton is talking about. She actually was asked the other day where she was going to come up with all the money to pay for over $1 trillion in new spending that she described in just one speech. And she said, and I quote, "I'll tell you how we're going to pay for it. We're going where the money is. We're going after the super wealthy. We're going after corporations. We're going after Wall Street," close quote. Well, she certainly knows where all those things are. Thanks. I mean, going after corporations, I mean, from 2013 to 2014, she collected $21 million in speaking fees from major corporations across America. And when you talk about Wall Street, I mean, she's received millions of dollars in campaign contributions from Wall Street. And when I was fighting against the Wall Street bailout on Capitol Hill, she was voting for the Wall Street bailout. You know, the truth of the matter is the only problem with Hillary Clinton's economic policy is what Margaret Thatcher said. And that is, the problem with socialism is you eventually run out of other people's money. You know, Donald Trump and I have a plan that'll get this economy moving again, and it's built on the time-honored principles that we've seen work again and again in this country. The truth is, back in the 1970s, when I was graduating from high school, and about the age of these young guys on the front row here, there were a lot of people that said that back then that the economy was about as good as it was going to get. Remember those days? We actually had a president of the United States, not too dissimilar from the current president, who actually talked about remember that speech about the American malaise, that this was kind of the new normal in America? And then we had another broad-shouldered leader who said, you know what, if you lower taxes, if you get government out of the way, you take 3 steps back, America will grow. Well, it worked back in the 1980s, and it's going to work in 2017 when Donald Trump becomes president of the United States. As you talk about the domestic agenda and you talk about the cascade of controversies coming out of the Clinton years, it actually gets a little bit worse when you look about the record of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama overseas. It's remarkable to think about it. 7.5 years of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton's foreign policies have weakened America's place in the world. Terrorist attacks at home and abroad, grim and heartbreaking scenes in our allies, an attempted coup in Turkey. I mean, if you look at a map of the wider Middle East in 2009 when Barack Obama took office and you compare it to today, for all the world, it looks like the entire region is just spinning apart. I mean, history teaches us that weakness arouses evil. And Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama's weak foreign policy of leading from behind, moving red lines, feigning resets with Russia, and paying ransom to terrorist-sponsoring states has emboldened the enemies of our freedom and set us on a path of disarray and disorder in the world. Remember, it was Hillary Clinton's record as Secretary of State that helped undo all of the hard-fought gains in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Now, I remember when this president came into power that after great difficulties in Iraq, that it was the American soldier who won stability in Iraq. And within 4 short years, because of their decision to precipitously withdraw our forces, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama literally created the vacuum in which the terrorist organization of ISIS was able to rise out of the sand and compromise vast areas of that hard-fought territory in Iraq. It was actually Hillary Clinton who instigated the disastrous agreement with the radical mullahs in Iran as Secretary of State. It's extraordinary to think that we all woke up that morning just a few short weeks ago to learn that on the day that 4 Americans were released from captivity in Iran, that this administration approved the delivery of $400 million in cash on a pallet in ransom. Well, let me make you this promise. When Donald Trump becomes president of the United States, we won't be paying ransom to terrorists or terrorist-sponsoring states. They'll be paying a price if they threaten Americans, if they harm Americans or threaten our allies. I promise you that. And lastly, it was Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton alone, as the head of the State Department, who left Americans in harm's way in Benghazi, then came home and actually told the parents of some of the 4 Americans who fell that it was caused by a video that had been released online instead of the terrorist attack that we all know that it was. When she was confronted with that before a Senate committee, Hillary Clinton actually said, quote, "What difference at this point does it make?" Well, let me tell you, as the proud father of a United States Marine, I want to say from my heart, anybody who said that, anybody who did that, should be disqualified from ever serving as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States of America. The truth of the matter is we can't have 4 more years apologizing to our enemies and abandoning our friends. America needs to be strong for the world to be safe. And when Donald Trump becomes President of the United States of America, we will rebuild our military. We will restore the arsenal of democracy. We will stand with our allies and stand up to our enemies, and America will lead on the world stage with strength once again. There's one last issue before I get to your questions. Standing up on a flatbed truck, which is, I feel right at home, I promise you. As the election approaches, it's not just what we face at home, making sure we have the highest standards of integrity and the highest office in the land. It's not just a failing economy, the answer the other side of which offers is just more of the same failed policies, and it's not the policies of an administration that have weakened America's place in the world. There's one more issue I want to make sure you all know about. You know, we're going to choose a president in this election in short of 80 days now that will serve for 4 years, but that president will actually set the course for the Supreme Court of the United States for the next 40 years. And we better think long and hard about that. The truth is, we need to think about what that means for our Constitution, what that means for our God-given liberties that are enshrined there and in our founding documents. I mean, elect Hillary Clinton and you better get used to more unelected judges using unaccountable power to make unconstitutional decisions, okay? I mean, it's amazing to think about the Heller decision by the Supreme Court just a few short years ago that simply recognized that the Second Amendment of the United States extended to an individual right to keep and bear arms. Hillary Clinton called that 5-4 decision a terrible decision. And her own aides said that she would make appointments that would address it when she became president, rewriting the Second Amendment. So let me just say to all of you, in addition to everything else that I've said, integrity in high office, a growing economy, a stronger America in the world, I would say for the sake of the rule of law, for the sake of the sanctity of life, for the sake of our Second Amendment to the Constitution and all of our God-given liberties, we must ensure that the next president making appointments to the Supreme Court of the United States of America is President Donald Trump. Now, Iowa's going to loom large. You always do early in the year. You know, we out in Indiana look out at Iowa and we see those things you call caucuses or something, whatever you do out here. It's just amazing. Yeah, I'll tell you, it's always warmed my heart that a heartland state like Iowa becomes the first place that America has a conversation about our future. I truly do believe that. And I want to commend Iowa for the way that the people of Iowa step up and take that decision to heart every 4 years. But I want you to know that while you're pretty used to playing a decisive and an important role in this election early in the process, Iowa's going to play a leading role in choosing the direction of this nation at the national level. And I truly do believe that the choice has never been more clear. I mean, men and women, this is a choice between change and the status quo. It's choice between broad-shouldered American leadership that will fight every day to make America great again, and the kind of leadership that will continue the same old policies that have weakened our place in the world, stifled our economy, and consistently walked away from our constitutional freedoms. So Iowa's going to play a key role. And so I want to challenge each one of you today. If you came here today to hear a speech, I hope you've heard a halfway good one on Monday. All right? I hope you have. It's all from the heart. But I hope more than that, that you understand that this election is going to be decided not on the cable TV shows, not on the front pages of the news, not on the airwaves of America, not even on the internet. This election is going to be decided one vote at a time, one precinct at a time. And I would say to you today, while we get up every day and it feels like it's 2-on-1, with the media doing half of Hillary Clinton's work for her each and every day, the truth of the matter is we're still winning hearts and minds every day. And I truly do believe that the most powerful media in America has always been and will always be word of mouth between the American people. So I want you to leave here and tell somebody. Okay? I want you to tell somebody. Now, I need to tell you this less in Iowa than elsewhere because you got that caucus thing you do. I know. You're used to it. But I mean to tell you, men and women, in the days that remain between now and Election Day, I want you to find a neighbor and a friend. I want you to sit them down. If anything that I've said today or anything that I say in our conversation has resonated with you, I want you to go tell them. Tell them what the stakes are in this election, because I truly do believe, I think we've come to a fork in the road. You know, this isn't a choice, I think, between America doing a little bit better or doing not quite as well in the days ahead. I think really this is a choice between continuing on the same downward path that we've been on, or turning around and starting back up the hill to growth and prosperity and opportunity and American strength. That's what it truly is. And we have got to turn it around. But it's going to take all of us doing it. All of us talking to our neighbors and friends. So let me summarize it for you one more time, what the choice is, in case you're taking notes. All right? If you want a president who will protect this nation, rebuild our military, confront radical Islamic terrorism, and rid the world of ISIS, if you want a president who will restore law and order and stand with men and women in our law enforcement community each and every day, if you want a president who will cut taxes, grow our economy, squeeze every nickel out of that bloated federal bureaucracy, and repeal Obamacare lock, stock, and barrel, and if you want a president who will build a wall, restore strong borders, and ensure that the laws of this nation are enforced for the citizens of this nation, and if you want a president who will upend the status quo in Washington, D.C., and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, then I say to you, men and women of Iowa, we have but one choice, and I promise you, that man is ready, this team is ready, this movement is ready. All it remains is for each of us to go and work our hearts out until we make Donald Trump the 45th President of the United States of America, and we will make America great again. Thanks very much. Thanks for letting me get that off my chest. All right, dude, was that all right? Thanks, man. Got one applause here. One guy. Yeah, no, good. I'm glad you did. No, seriously, you know, I really do think, and I'm going to ask our microphone folks to slide up. Slip your hand in the air if you got a question, anything that's on your mind. We got a little bit of time together. I do think it's important. I think we've got something like 79 days left. I haven't checked it and added it. And less than 80 days left. Look, it's important that we remind each other of what we already know, okay? Because my hope is, as I travel all around campaigning with Donald Trump and for Donald Trump like today, I just really do hope that maybe we're reminding people of the stakes in this election. I hope you heard something. You feel emboldened to go out and tell neighbors and friends, because that's what it's going to take. So how about I slip a hand in the air? Anybody got a question? Yes, please. And tell me your first name if you're comfortable.
My name is Julia, and
Hi,
I
Julia.
thank you for visiting our beautiful state here in Iowa.
Thank you.
I would like to know, how excited are you to completely demolish Tim Kaine on the debate stage in the coming months?
Julia, thanks for the vote of confidence. I will tell you, I'm looking forward to a good debate. But I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to Donald Trump's debates with Hillary Clinton. I really am. I mean, when you think about that contrast between a truth teller who speaks plainly, straight from his heart and from his mind, and Hillary Clinton, it's going to be a great night. But I'm looking very much forward to debating Senator Kaine. You know, he's a fine man. He served his state as governor. I served as governor. Our records are a little bit different. Since I became governor of the great state of Indiana, we've balanced budgets, made record investments in education and infrastructure. And we've passed $3.5 billion in tax relief for Hoosiers over the last 4 years, just between now and 2022. Senator Kane, when he was governor, actually proposed more than $3 billion in tax increases. In the state of Indiana, I'm proud to say that unemployment dropped from over 8% to 4.6%, nearly cut it in half. Unemployment doubled when Governor Kane was running the state of Virginia. So that kind of stuff might come up. You never know. But, you know, as they say in NASCAR, rubbing is racing, right? I'm really looking forward to a great debate, and we'll bring our very, very best that night, Julia. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Very kind. Yes, sir.
My name's Rich.
Hi, Rich.
What I want to know is, should corporations like Hewlett-Packard be allowed to hire 70% foreign workers when our kids are graduating with massive college debt?
Well, let me answer that. There's a couple of different pieces of that question, Rich. And first, I mean, look, I believe in a free and open economy. But the truth of the matter is that Hillary Clinton's plan to increase taxes on working families, small businesses, and family farms is just that. I mean, when she talks about raising taxes on the rich, which we've heard that saw, how, you know, before you and I had the color hair that we've got right now, right? Remember, we heard the same thing. They said the same thing back in the 70s, tax cuts for the rich. But the truth of the matter is, you and I both know that businesses like the one that we're standing in today, more often than not, pay their taxes as individuals. Okay, so the ability to hire more people here at modern companies is directly related to the tax rate for upper income Americans. And so when you so-called raise taxes on the rich, you're raising taxes on job creators and the very people that can put those Americans back to work. And I have to tell you, with regard to multinational corporations and the like, I mean, Hillary Clinton believes that we should keep the corporate tax rate at 35%, and Donald Trump and I are committed to work with Congress to cut the corporate tax rate to 15% and make it possible for businesses in this country to stay in this country and hire in this country, okay? I mean, take a look, if you go online a little bit later today, there's a terrific editorial in the Wall Street Journal today about the contrasting plans of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And there's no question in my mind that her plan to keep the corporate tax rate high and to continue to have barriers for companies to bring profits back into this country where we can employ Americans is going to result in us staying on that downward economic path that we've been on, harming Americans and the rest. With regard to student loans, you know, truthfully, I got my daughter Charlotte is here with my wife Karen, who you warmly welcomed earlier. Our daughter Charlotte not only just graduated from college, but got a job, which is really kind of a big deal, and she's here. But, you know, Karen and I have gone through the process of student loans like so many other parents and the rest, and the truth is that the best antidote to that is a good paying job, and finding opportunities in a growing economy is a whole lot easier on those college graduates than an economy. The morning after Hillary Clinton's national convention address, we woke up and learned that the economy had grown by 1.4%. And that's not sustainable for young people looking for work. That's not sustainable for our nation as a whole. So thanks for the question. Hi, right over here in the red.
Hi, I'm Kim. And I'm concerned about
Kim?
Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Right, the mic kind of just came up. I'm concerned about our national debt, you know, and approaching $19 trillion, and I wonder what your plan is for getting it back down.
$19 trillion is just extraordinary, and it has almost doubled under the Obama administration. Now, I will tell you that, you know, I spent 12 years on Capitol Hill, Kim, and you can probably go back and ask some of my friends who served with me there that I probably spent as much time between 2000 and 2008 fighting against the big spenders in my own party as I did fighting against the big spenders in the Obama administration when they arrived. I mean, I happen to believe it is, and Donald Trump believes, it is morally wrong to run up the tab and put debt on our children and grandchildren to pay for our lives today in this country. It's just simply morally wrong to do it. So what you're going to see, in our administration is when you elect Donald Trump, you're going to elect a CEO who's going to roll his sleeves up, and not only are we going to cut taxes and freeze new regulations and rip out the excessive regulations that are waging war on job creators, but also we're going to get into that federal bureaucracy. We're going to squeeze every nickel out of it. And the other piece of it, and remember this, the truth of the matter is that you will never balance the federal budget again unless we get this economy growing at 3% or even 4%. I mean, if you go Google that a little bit and you find that out, you'll find that's everybody understands that. But so the first priority is to get the economy moving, get it rolling again, create jobs and opportunities, and an expanded economy puts us on a pathway where, along with fiscal discipline, we can achieve fiscal solvency and stop burdening these children with paying for our bills today. So, very, very high priority, and I appreciate you bringing it up. Yes, hi, in the
We
back.
have time for one more question.
My name's Elliot Driscoll.
Elliot?
Yes.
Hi.
My brother and I own and operate a relatively large organic crop and livestock farm just one county away from here. My question to you is, a lot of our economic problems as well as our social problems are instigated by Mrs. Clinton and her husband. What I'd really like to know is, would a Republican Attorney General under your administration be able to or have the willingness to indict Hillary Clinton?
Well, the only thing I can assure you is that her Attorney General will not be willing to do that, okay? Those are questions. Look, no one is above the law. That is an enduring American principle. And you heard me say it today, and it may well be in the media a little bit tonight. Donald Trump will be speaking about this a little bit later today, is that it's just time for Hillary Clinton to come out of hiding. I mean, Hillary is hiding, and Donald Trump is everywhere. I mean, he gave 4 or 5 major addresses last week all over the country on a broad range of issues, and Hillary Clinton has gone now more than 250 days without having a press conference, without answering questions in the media, and as more and more comes out about the Clinton Foundation, I mean, and that's why I hope everybody was really clear on this. Donald Trump and I are calling on Hillary Clinton not to say that she will no longer take money from major corporations and foreign donors if she's elected president. She's got to stop doing that right now. Okay? I mean, to signal that they're going to continue to take contributions to the Clinton Foundation while she's running for and seeking the presidency is just it's truly remarkable. But it's very much what we're used to coming from them. But I would just offer that to you, that Elliot, that no one is above the law, and under a Trump administration, we will faithfully execute the laws of this country. That is the oath that you take, and that is the oath he'll fulfill. We got one more right here. Can I get the red jacket lady? Oh, okay, he's already got one more back there.
My question was, after we beat Hillary Clinton in November,
Yeah.
What will your role be in a Trump presidency?
What's your names?
My name's Owen.
Hey, Owen, great question. The short answer is, Owen, whatever the president wants it to be, okay? That's how that works. Right, it is. But what I can tell you is that I couldn't be, I'm incredibly honored. I mean, it's hard for me to describe to you, Owen, what this opportunity means to me and my family. I get a little bit emotional about it when I start to think about it. You know, my grandfather immigrated to this country from Ireland. He drove a bus for 40 years and raised 2 daughters and a son in Chicago, Illinois. And in fact, his daughter, my mother, Nancy Pence, is with us today. Can I embarrass her by asking you to? My mom married a fast-talking salesman and who talked her into moving down to a small town in rural southern Indiana, bought a cornfield in the backyard, and raised me and my 3 brothers and 2 sisters to really believe in this country, to believe in the American dream. And my brothers and sisters followed careers in business, raised great families. I felt a calling to public service. My dream was to someday, Owen, represent my hometown in Washington, D.C. I was able to do that for 12 years. I don't ever imagine I would have had the opportunity to serve as governor of my state, and I could never have conceived of the privilege that has been afforded to my family today. But what I promise you is that I will get up every day as Vice President of the United States, and I will work my heart out to carry Donald Trump's agenda to make America great again to Capitol Hill, to our state capitals, all across this country, and I will do everything in my power to help that new president be successful. And I just can tell you, having spent time around him, I've come to 2 conclusions. Donald Trump is a good man, and he will be a great president of the United States of America. Thank you all very much. This is a real joy, Iowa. We will be back again and often. Let's go get it done.